Now, if you still have the wheel layer invisible, just go ahead and turn it back on. One thing to bear in mind is the stacking order of your objects in Illustrator. Basically, the order that they were drawn in creates them from background to foreground in stacking order, if you like. So even if they're all on a single layer or even in a group, like our wheel that we have selected here, there is still a stacking order. Now, layers define the overall stacking of a document, okay? So we know that the stripes are on top of the wheel because we can see that. But there is still a stacking order of all of these circles on this layer because they were drawn at different times in a slightly different order, okay? So I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Well, that entire group is selected. What we're going to do is come up to our color panel and let's go down and maybe fill this with a yellow or a green, whatever color you wish to see. And I'm just going to zoom in on this a little bit closer. Now, if I deselect, you can see our problem. We've filled them with green and they all have a black stroke, but I can't see half of them. Well, that's because when we drew these circles, remember the order in which we drew them. We started with the outside one, then we started with the middle and worked our way out, and this one was the last one that was drawn. That's why we can only see these two. All the others are in there, it's just that they're hidden behind these other shapes. So what we can do is use a new keyboard shortcut in CS5 that allows us to click down through each of these elements, select them, and then we can simply bring to front or center back accordingly. Now, just so you know it exists, if we go ahead and select our group, and in fact, if you wanted to, we could double click to go into isolation here. In the layers panel, we can see this is our group, and if we twirl down our option there, we can see each of the paths that makes up this group. But honestly, they're all green with a black stroke, so it really doesn't help us at this point in time. But I wanted you to know that that's there if you are trying to select an individual item. However, our keyboard shortcut, which is very useful, I'm going to go somewhere around the middle here because I know all of the circles obviously generate from here. And I'm going to hold down the Command key or the Control key on the PC and click to select our current shape. If I then click again, you'll notice I select the next one down, which is pretty cool. What we can do now is tell that to come to the front, all right? Go up to your object menu, go down to Arrange, and you'll see you have Bring to Front, and down here, Center Back if you need it. So Bring to Front, Shift and Command, or Shift Control on the PC, and your right square bracket. That's your keyboard shortcut. If we go ahead and select that, you can see that that circle is now brought to the foreground, and we can see our stroke, okay? So likewise, if we come back down here again, hold down Command, we can click through, click again, and we now find our inner circle that was hidden there. Same thing, we can now use our keyboard shortcut to just bring that to the front. And let's go and do the keyboard shortcut again and just work our way down through the stack of shapes. You can see them each being selected until we find our central one. And once again, keyboard shortcut to bring that to the front, all right? So it's just worth bearing that in mind. It doesn't really affect our artwork because these wheel circles are not going to be filled with the color, but I wanted to give you an example there of what happens if you have two shapes, you've grouped them and you fill them both with color and you can only see one of them. It's to do with your stacking order, and the order in which you draw things will control that, okay? So do bear that in mind. So what we can do now is let's double click back out of isolation mode, reselect the entire group so we can edit them all at the same time and say fill none. Okay, so we're basically back where we were, but that was just an example of how we can change it. So once again, let's fit everything in the window. We could go ahead and maybe lock our wheel layer at this point in time, and very importantly, Command S or Control S on the PC and save all of our progress at this point in time.